Hey, black man, you voting for Kamala Harris? Because you know Obama told you to. Let's talk about it. So yesterday, Barack Obama decided it was a good idea to come out of his house, save Kamala Harris's sinking ship in Pittsburgh, and talk shit about Trump for a few minutes, and then gather a bunch of black men behind signage that says black male voters and basically tell them, you better vote for Kamala Harris. The numbers are not looking good, and especially amongst the brothers. You guys supported me when I was running, and I expect you to support her. I expect you to vote for Kamala Harris. It's the audacity for me.
Because people see that you're a fraud. Because people know what you did to the black community when you were president. And don't ever come at me and say, oh, well, you just giving him a hard time. No.
I would really like to know why, when it's election season, Obama sees fit to always punch down on black folk, and specifically black men. I am quite befuddled that somehow our community takes the rap for the Democratic Party's lack of reading the goddamn room.
My understanding, based on reports I'm getting from campaigns and communities, is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout.
Breaking news. Former President of the United States, Barack Obama, just called out black men for not supporting Kamala Harris. He's wondering why the black community, especially black men, aren't turning out to support the first black woman vice president. But here is the question. Is Obama out of touch with black men? Or are black men simply not convinced by Kamala Harris? Welcome guys to the YouTube channel. My name is Joel Mugisha. And if you're new to this channel, kindly subscribe, like the video, share, drop a comment. So let's jump into today's video. We're gonna watch these videos that I've compiled for you. First, the video where Obama is calling out black men, and then we're gonna see how black people have reacted to this.
I'm going to go ahead and just speak some truths, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Because my understanding, based on reports I'm getting from campaigns and communities, is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly and say that when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences, who's had to work harder and do more and overcome and achieves the second highest office in the land and is putting forward concrete proposals to directly address the things that are vital in our neighborhoods and our communities, from housing to making sure that our mothers and our fathers and our grandparents can afford medicine, and making sure that we are dealing with prices that are too high and rents that are too high, and are committed to making sure that we maintain the Affordable Care Act, so everybody's got health care and cares about things like education and entrepreneurship in our neighborhoods. And that's on one side. And on the other side, you have someone who has consistently shown disregard, not just for the communities, but for you as a person. And you're thinking about sitting out? I'm not. But, you know, Cousin Pookie might be. And you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. I've got a problem with that. Because part of it makes me think, and I'm speaking to men directly now, part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that. And I think anybody you are talking to in a barbershop, anybody you are talking to in your house, in your family, at church, who is coming with that kind of attitude, I think you have to ask them, well, how can that be? Because the women in our lives have been getting our backs this entire time. They've been raising us and working and having our backs. And when we get in trouble and the system's not working for us, they're the ones who are out there marching and protesting. And so now you're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you because you think that's a sign of strength, because that's what being a man is, putting women down. That's not acceptable. That's not it. This shouldn't even be a question.
Why are black men being lectured to? Why are black men being belittled in ways that no other voting group? Now, a lot of love for former President Obama, but for him to single out black men is wrong. And some of the black men that I have talked to have their reasons why they want to vote a different way. And even if some of us may not like that, we have to respect it. So unless President Barack Obama is going to go out and lecture every other group of men from other identity groups, my message for Democrats is don't bring it here to black men who, by and large, don't vote much differently from black women. And what, as a politician, we should be trying to get all voters to vote. And hopefully there are a few good men out there who do care about the stripping away of some of women's bodily autonomy. But this is wrong for President Obama. It is a wrong course for the Harris-Walz campaign to lay at the feet of black men when they have their reasons.
Hey, black man, you voting for Kamala Harris? Because you know Obama told you to. Let's talk about it. So yesterday, Barack Obama decided it was a good idea to come out of his house, save Kamala Harris's sinking ship in Pittsburgh, and talk shit about Trump for a few minutes, and then gather a bunch of black men behind signage that says black male voters and basically tell them, you better vote for Kamala Harris. The numbers are not looking good, and especially amongst the brothers. You guys supported me when I was running, and I expect you to support her. I expect you to vote for Kamala Harris. It's the audacity for me. First of all, you can't tell any black man what to do ever. That's first of all. Second of all, when is he massa? When is he gonna think that he could go in front of a bunch of black men and tell them what to do? Like, is that what we're doing right now? Like, who made him in charge of what black men do or don't do? So the small percentage of black men who were either going to vote for Kamala Harris or were leaning and undecided but leaning towards her, they're absolutely not going to vote for Kamala Harris. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to vote for Trump, but they're for sure not voting for her. So whatever their little plan was to like play in the emotions of black people or make black men feel like they can't make their own damn decisions, that backfired. It's all over the internet. Barack Obama, that was a bad move. It was a bad move. You did nothing for black men back in the day. So how do you get to come out being like a billionaire telling black men who are working their asses off to pay for things and take care of their families that they better do as you say? Wow. Come in the comments, repost and share this, and tell me what the black men think about this, because I'm sure they're hot.
To former President Obama, I understand the reservations he might have for the lack of enthusiasm and a lack of excitement for Kamala Harris as there was during his time when he was running as a presidential candidate. But I would say this. They're not the same candidates. Same way I would give up that there might be some men, some black men, who might be a victim of the patriarchy rather than actually not looking at Kamala Harris as a very qualified candidate. At the end of the day, though, you are not Kamala Harris, and Kamala Harris is not you. Enthusiasm would be nice, but the numbers show that former President Barack Obama is speaking to the wrong audience, right? The stats show this. At every turn, on almost every single election, whether it's a presidential election or Senate seats, it shows that black men and black women, black people, period, turn out for the Democratic Party at a very high rate. The people you should be speaking to, you should be lecturing to, and having the same type of, I guess, energy towards are non-black people. But I guess this is where we are as far as what politics now, right? We're very far removed from changing anyone's mind, right? We're at the point now where we're just trying to make sure we don't lose where we have a strong hold, right? So we're trying to make sure that, the 85% of black men that used to vote for you doesn't change to 80. Because if that was not the case, President Obama would be at every single, conference where there's a majority white women and a majority white men, and would be pleading to them the same exact thing he's pleading to black men, which is, hey, Donald Trump didn't grow up like you. Kamala Harris, regardless of color, is the one that grew up more like you from this type of home and etc. But he's not doing that because we are low-key admitting something, which is America is completely divided, and we're just trying to make sure we don't lose an inch. As far as lack of enthusiasm is concerned, and what's driving maybe some of this panic, I think it's just a bunch of contrarian, sort of extreme right-wing black men who have a voice online and tend to grift that are actually probably not gonna vote and really are just sharing same talking points as, the red pill community. They're parroting talking points about who wrote the stimulus checks out and what the economy was like, and really just parroting a lot of fake news as well, right? So if I were the president, I'll probably be a little more careful. Let's keep Kamala Harris sounding like a very qualified candidate. To the people that you are going to lose to just simply because of sexism, it is what it is. But what you don't want to do is not only anger the strong base that you have as black men, and there are going to be some black women ready to stand up and say, hey, wait a minute, we're not the group you should be talking to. There's a group you should be talking to. And the numbers show they're right there. That's where the split happens. Unfortunately, if we're keeping it real, they're the ones that decide the election.
I would really like to know why, when it's election season, Obama sees fit to always punch down on black folk, and specifically black men. I am quite befuddled that somehow our community takes the rap for the Democratic Party's lack of reading the goddamn room. And when it comes to the conditions of black folks in the United States of America, no matter who has been in office or even held the majority of Congress, black people's conditions have stayed the exact same, and in some areas have gotten worse. And then to use this trope as somehow black men just don't want to see a woman as president is absolutely insane. I have never once seen this party address white men and white women and their complicity in upholding the oppressive systems against black and brown folks in the United States. This is why I'm not mad at people opting out of voting, because we have literally fought for the rights of ourselves and everybody else in this damn country, and still the finger gets pointed at us. And at the same time, no one is ever willing to put in plans and policies that positively impact black people in America.
Because people see that you're a fraud. Because people know what you did to the black community when you were president. And don't ever come at me and say, oh, well, you just giving them a hard time. No. Maybe part of the reason why people are more skeptical of this candidate that you guys selected and just put out there is not just because of her record. It's not just because she's a part of the current administration that's been part of the problems. It's not just because she wants to give unwavering support to an apartheid genocidal state. It is also because During your presidency, you sat right there and you bailed out Wall Street instead of the American people, and black wealth tanked under your presidency. So excuse me, if we are not willing to sit up there and just smile at any other person that you put in front of us, that you say is one of us, and go along with it. So you see, this is the problem with the Barack Obamas and the Kamala Harrises. They're not like us. And I'm not trying to be mean, and people will hear that and they'll take it the wrong way. But no, most of us did not grow up that way. My parents didn't have a college education. And in fact, a lot of the people that I grew up with, their parents didn't have a college education either. I was the first one in my family to graduate from college. She knows the same struggle. She doesn't. Her family didn't go through Jim Crow. My family did. Her family didn't have to do the Great Migration. My family did. My grandparents migrated from the Carolinas to Baltimore because that's where the jobs were.
Yo, listen, I'm sure by now you've heard the amazing words from Barack Obama from last night's rally, where he talked about not only getting out the vote, but making sure that you remember why you're voting. But he also talked about January 6th and how Donald Trump did not care about the well-being and concern of then Vice President Mike Pence. And said basically, if Donald Trump didn't care about Mike Pence, what makes you think he's going to care about you? And that is the God's honest truth. I mean, Donald Trump cares about Donald Trump and maintaining power for himself. He does not care about you. That's why we need to get out and vote for Kamala Harris. But before I do that, look at this amazing scenery. I'm in Capri, Italy. Whew. It's so beautiful here.
If Donald Trump does not care that a mob might attack his own vice president, do you think he cares about you? Pennsylvania, we do not need 4 more years of that. We don't need 4 more years of arrogance and bumbling and bluster and division. America's ready to turn the page. We are ready for a better story, one that helps us work together instead of turning against each other. Pennsylvania, we're ready for a President Kamala Harris. If Donald Trump would have got on TV and said, white men should be voting for me over Kamala Harris, what would y'all have said?
All right, guys, there you have it. Actually, those are the videos that I had compiled for you. Barack Obama, the former United States of America, calling out black men for not supporting Kamala Harris. Guys, I don't know actually if this saying is just a saying, but I know people say my vote, my choice. But now, how do we vote actually? Do we vote for a person just because they are black without looking at any other consideration? Or is actually the campaign of Harris gotten so bad in numbers that Obama had to come out and pull some string together for Harris actually to get her numbers up? Because it looks like Trump has been actually winning on all fronts in every state and in every major state in terms of votes and numbers in the campaign. Because if Obama had to come to this actually and make it, an emotional call out, because this is like trying to get to the emotions of black people to vote because they are voting for their fellow black man or black woman, sorry. But now, if we are voting in that perspective of emotions, that means that black men don't know what to do. They have to be told, what to do. They have to be told how to vote. So I don't think this is going to help Kamala Harris going forward, because most of the people are not just gonna sit there and be told how to vote, because I believe black men and black people know what they want to vote for. They know what they want to vote. They know who they want to vote. They can make their own decision. I think that was a bad move from Obama there, what he just did. As you saw on the reactions of black people, many black people are angry at this, and it's going viral on the internet a lot. And this is not looking good for Harris, actually, because she was on the course of becoming the first. It's still possible, there's still probability there. She's on the course of becoming the first black woman president of the United States of America. And Obama there calling out black men, especially black American men, for not voting for Harris just because she's a woman. And that's another string of emotional string that he was trying to pull there. I don't think that they don't want to vote someone just because he's a woman. You know, people vote in accordance to whom they want to vote, in accordance to whom actually is convincing with their agenda for the country. And I think people in the United States right now are just woke up, man. It's not like back in the days when they could vote, you know, when they were voting in the likes of Obama because of race. You know, it was a historical moment for Obama to become the first black president of the United States. But some people actually have raised a question. Yes, he is the first black president of the United States, but is he the first black American president of the United States? Because we all know Obama's father was from Kenya and her mother was white. And black Americans have their descendants from black people who came from Africa way back in the days. But now people are just saying maybe he was just the first black president, but not the first black American president. But you guys tell me in the comment section, what do you think about this? Is Obama coming to save the day for Harris? What do you think about that? Thank you very much for watching this far. Kindly subscribe if you're not. And as always, guys, see you on the next one.